Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space where we discuss love, friendship, relationship, everything in between. I am your host, Sayame Sale, and today, yes, I'm not alone in the studio. Shay is with me, live into.
Hi everyone.
Hello, Shay.
Hi, well,
Shay, what happened today on our WhatsApp group?
I I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know. The WhatsApp group was WhatsApping.
WhatsApp group, WhatsApp page. Sajo of life. Sajo, are you there? Where's Sajo?
I'm
Your
here. Good evening.
your mic is traveling.
I'm
Sajo,
here.
what's
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sajo, what happened? What's up?
You happened.
Exactly.
Ah,
Exactly. That's the perfect response. She was.
Sajo, are you just gonna throw me under the bus like that? I thought I was your baby.
You threw a bomb in the WhatsApp group.
Under the bus. Don't worry. I'll ensure that the bus is not moving. You are safer there.
Sajo, it was just an honest, genuine question that I asked. And you people now turned it into World War V. Okay, I'm not going to talk
Some
about
of
it again.
us, some of us are what the other group would describe as homophobic. We are very traditional. We just cannot relate with some extremes, which are very un-African and un-Nigerian.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so Sajo, let's dive into what we want to discuss today because I think it's quite interesting. The question is, can you be happily married and still feel lonely? That's the question that we're going to be addressing tonight, right? Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 803 You can also call our phone lines to join in the conversation 070 or 07014242420. Those are the numbers to call. So, I mean, when I saw this topic, I said, okay, this is interesting. Again, because a lot of people um, are already used to the idea of just keeping up, you know, something you say for the gram, just keeping up appearances, just being, but genuinely in their heart of hearts, in their loneliness, in their quiet spaces, you can tell that this person is unhappy. I remember so many nights where, there were some times I used to be so unhappy. I would be smiling. I would have gone for an event, all glammed up. By the time I get to my immediately I
Your
get into my
quiet
car,
place. Yeah.
not even quiet place. As soon as I get into the car, I'm the only one in the car. You see the tears will be rolling, the tears will be dropping, with all the makeup smudging and all of that. And I know that this is the reality for a lot of people, right? Loneliness is not something that you can really explain, right? Because sometimes you keep wondering, why is this person feeling this way, despite, like, you from the outside, you're seeing so many things around that person, and you're wondering why. Why is this person feeling this way? But yeah, is loneliness really a thing? And can you truly be happily married and still feel a sense of loneliness? Let me start with you, Shade, and I'll come to Sergio.
Okay, so I feel like irrespective of marriage, deep down, everybody is still their own person. No matter how married or how much years you spent in marriage, at the core of it, you're still your own person. You still process things individually. Um, and it is not everything that your spouse can cater to when it comes to your personal needs and
Yeah.
emotional needs. I don't think it's everything your um, spouse can cater to. There are some things that you need to resolve internally by yourself, and this cannot be solved by your spouse. You can be lonely even with the best of relationships, even if your wife, your husband is still the best man, is there, something in you can be missing. And sometimes not everybody even knows what they are missing.
They just feel
You
the
just
void.
feel, yes, you just feel you just feel some sort of way. You just feel disconnected. You just feel, sometimes you don't even know what is making you go through that feeling. That's why you see some people, in gatherings, they are the party
Yeah, the life
riders,
of the
the
party.
life of the party. The next thing, this guy has committed suicide. How? What happened? I'm sure sometimes he himself that was going through that thing cannot even
explain it.
explain.
But somebody has said this thing, Shay, because of what you said, that one of the strongest signs of suicidal people, it's again this overly expressing and laughing excessively and all that excitement outside. That is something you should also check, because it's not supposed to. There should be a balance. But let me come to you, Sergio. Happily married and still feel lonely, right? Is it really a thing? From your own perspective, is it a thing?
Now, I want to give definitions to these terms we're using. First of all, I want us to distinguish between happy marriage and being happily married. Those are two different things. You can be in a happy marriage and not be happily married. Now, luckily, this question is not whether you can be in a happy marriage and yes,
Sergio, are you able to separate it?
Conveniently. Yes, conveniently. Now, a happy marriage could be a marriage where you are putting in so much energy from one party, and then the marriage is wonderfully happy. And then the other party is happy in the marriage, and the kids are happy with their kids, and outwardly it seems very happy. But being happily married is not internalizing it. It's you. It's not the marriage that is happy. It's you are happily married. That means everything that means happiness to you is alive within that arrangement called marriage. So you can actually have a happy marriage where you are putting in so much for the marriage to be happy, and you are not happily married. But let's not digress. We're discussing being happily married. The presumption now is that you have attained happiness in your marriage, so you're happily married. Now, whether you can be lonely, you see, arriving at that phrase, happily married, is putting all the ingredients that makes up marriage and putting them on a scale and determining whether, if you put all these things together, can I be said to be happily married? Without compartmentalizing other aspects. So it could be a situation where, without specifics, A, B, C, D, F are good, and E is bad. If you put everything together and you shake it up, it arrives to a pass. So you're happily married. But that E could actually be the core of your loneliness. It's also in the light of asking yourself the distinguishing characteristics of being lonely and being alone, which people often mistake as one and the same thing. You can be alone and not be lonely, and you can be with several persons in a wonderful, cheerful home and be very lonely. I don't know if you're still hearing me.
Yeah, I get you, because you see that issue of that conversation of loneliness and being alone. Some people are not comfortable in their own company, so I get you. Go ahead.
Now, what makes you lonely is personal. It is that hollow space, that emptiness you feel even in company of persons, that unfulfillment that comes with life and living. That's what invokes or provokes loneliness. Yes, I completely agree that you can be in marriage and be very lonely. And it can be worse, that you could also be in a marriage that you're not able to communicate your loneliness to your partner. Because first of all, they may not have the capacity to understand the content of your loneliness or the ways and means to address it. So it could be a dark path that you will have to walk alone and then find a way of healing from that loneliness. And indeed,
Interesting.
yes, you can be very, very, you can be happily married, very happily married, and also be very lonely within the same happy marriage.
And because the loneliness is not a function of the marriage, it's a function of you as a person. That's what I hear you
The
say.
function of is the function of the emptiness you feel
You
at a
feel on your side.
particular time.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So just to add to that conversation that you just the foundation you just laid, right? Is it also possible that the reason we as humans, let's even take away the context of marriage now, loneliness, what would you say is the biggest trigger for loneliness, when it comes to, just generally as a human being? Is it that maybe there is a sense of, there is a loss of purpose, or you don't have a sense of purpose that this is what you're called to do? What exactly would be, if you want to really put a finger to why you think people experience loneliness? Because if you wake up, for instance, you have a big vision ahead of you, you have these and all of those things. I think certain level of fulfillment gives you some level of, I am doing this and I'm excited about it. It gives you something to look forward to, right? So I'm just asking, like, generally, what would you think are the core, what would I call it, reasons someone would start to experience loneliness? Let's even first of all keep the marriage aside, as a person.
So, first of all, I would think loneliness has nothing to do with achievements in a way, because you discover that even the most successful people, the people who've had it all, the people who make so much money, are in the corner of their room. They still feel very empty, you know. Even though they have purpose, they have, like, I want to be the biggest, and they seem to be,
High flyers.
high flyers meeting those targets that they've set. But somewhere, somehow, along the line, they still feel like, I don't know, man. I'm just chasing, and there's still something that is missing. Well, personally, I'm not sure I can speak to that, but I feel like apart from chasing goals and all that, I feel like there's always something missing in human beings for a deeper connection.
I'm just going to say that.
There's always need for, everybody wants something they can connect to, which is where religion kind of
source.
Yes, which is where sometimes religion comes into play. Sometimes family, just knowing that, I'm weak, I want to fall down, just hold my hand small. I may look like I have everything in the world, but let's just take a walk. Let's just forget about everything I've achieved, and which is why sometimes you find the richest men and the loneliest, and the people they have the most meaningful relationship with might not even be in their circle.
Maybe their chef, their
Exactly.
Yeah.
You will see, if you think about it, even in marriage, you see they say one chief went to one village and he just left everything that he worked for and just went to meet one girl inside one village. And when they saw him, he was so happy. And they would say, the girl used jazz.
Fulfilled.
Yeah, they would say the girl used jazz.
That's why. Yeah, go ahead.
There's just, I think it's just something in every human being that there's always, no matter what you achieve, no matter, even when you have the most, loving family, even when you have the most money, even when you are hitting all your targets, there's always usually something that you aspire to be. Sometimes, because I always also like to come from a spiritual angle, they say God put that in every human being, that you would crave for a connection that is deeper than
And just all these
all this.
achievements.
Yeah, everything you
You know,
have.
so you know why I say that, and I'm going to come to you, Sergio, because you know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Mm,
The at the top, at the peak, when you've sorted out all the basic things, the food, the shelter, the whatever, and all of that, at the peak is self-actualization, self-fulfillment, and all of that. So that's why I was asking, that is it tied to something? You know, is that ability for you to, you know, like wake up to, it might just be a simple thing that you are feeding people that are unable to feed, that gives you so much joy and fulfillment. It makes you feel alive. I don't know how to explain it,
So
because so it's deeper than
yeah.
just your achievements.
So what I wanted to say is, I mean, just to buttress what you were saying, is the fact that every human being always craves for the thing that they don't have. You know, the poor guy will say the thing that will give me the best fulfillment is when I've made all the money. The rich guy has made all the money. Is looking for somebody
Simple life.
just simple, like just somebody that can sit down and
And
talk
just be
to me
honest, and let's have.
and let's be stupid together.
Mm,
Do you know, the guy who's the president of the world is just looking for, everybody has, after achieving and achieving or not achieving, depending on the level or the ladder you are, you will look for the thing that you are missing, that you don't have. And that is what, if you allow it, that is what is going to bring about the most lonely part of your life.
Sergio, do you want to come in here?
Okay. First of all, I would think that uh, we must also understand that loneliness is not itself the problem. Loneliness is informed by some deep rooted emptiness or hollowness within you. Maybe in some life expectations, you have projections and they are not there yet, or you had a very wonderful life and then it went south and you're not able to come out of it easily, though you still have good fortunes. So, for me, the first trigger would be your social circle. The essence of having positive social circle is so that in those hours of loneliness, because it will always be there, no matter how much you have achieved, you have persons who within your circle can give you some energies or energy in singular form to kickstart you again and begin to push a new drive that will help you out of it. Um, whether you live by rules or by your terms, you get to those hours when you're really lonely. Now, your ability to know the hours and what you need to do to deal with those situations is what distinguishes you from one who moves from being lonely to being depressed and sometimes becoming suicidal. First of all, I think the number one exit is good social circle. And then contentment. You can never achieve everything on earth. So the much you have, be grateful and look at things as half full than looking at it as half empty.
Absolutely. So let me read something that she had shared earlier today, and I thought it was quite interesting. It will help us to add a bit of would I say, color to the conversation. And it was a tweet that somebody, I think it says the real Viv Viveka, Abi? Vivikia or something. It says you can love your family and still feel lonely. It says, I thought something was wrong with me. I had a beautiful family, a job, a home, but deep down I felt disconnected from myself. Nobody tells you this. Fathers often sacrifice their identity for stability. Number two, he says, the world doesn't pause for you to find yourself. I spent years waiting for the perfect time to start living intentionally,
Intentionally.
but life just kept moving and I kept shrinking. If you want change, you have to make it happen in the middle of chaos, right? Then he now goes on to say, number three, your kids don't need a perfect dad, they need a present one. I used to be obsessed over being the best provider, the best teacher, the best role model, but my kids just wanted me, not the busy, burnt out version, just the calm, loving one that sat down and played with them. I'll stop here for now, then we'll come back later to this. But you see that first point that he made, you know, about being what's it called? Fathers often sacrifice their identity for stability. I mean, both of you are guys. I feel that a lot of men experience loneliness more, correct me if I'm wrong, than women. Because you see, in a marriage, for instance, women have a lot of support system. You know, they have people they can always talk to. But you see, the man, and I this is just to like, to tie into what Sergio had said earlier about the importance of the social circle that you have, your support system, because when he said it, that fathers often sacrifice their identity for stability, it means that at that point you do not have anything. You don't have an option. You have to make it work. You have to put aside a lot of things that you want to do just to be able to put stability to your family. And you see, these are things that we rarely talk about. But when it comes to loneliness, who do you think is hit the hardest in a relationship? Is it a man? Is it a woman? And do men truly sacrifice their identity just to be able to keep a stable home?
So I think both parties sacrifice, but women have more support in terms of they always have women talk, so it's easy to let go. You find somebody you can relate to, either your mom or your girlfriends or whatever. So it's easier for you know women, but men would rather go into their shadows and find a way regardless. Um, so a woman can also lose her identity. She can lose herself, and it might not be spoken about more. Women tend to get themselves back years after. But you see that first 5 years of maybe marriage, where you have kids, you're catering to the kid,
So you also lose yourself
you
in
lose
it.
yourself if you're not careful.
You lose. I did actually. It's not even. I mean, I
Uh,
suspended my life to raise my
yes.
boys.
So, and
You
if
know.
you don't intentionally get back, you could just spiral,
Yeah, that's why you see a lot of women feeling so unfulfilled
and bitter.
and bitter. Okay, Sergio, let me come to you. What do you think about this man's tweet and identity, and also how he also felt very lonely despite having a very beautiful family?
I I agree with Shay in parts that both spouse, the male and the female, the husband and the wife, would sacrifice some measure of their identity, and they both could hit the lonely button every now and then. But your question is who suffers more? And I would say the man, straight up. And not just the man, but a good man.
Mm,
Now,
mm,
it takes absolute sacrifice of self to build a happy marriage. At the beginning, I was trying to distinguish between happily married and happy marriage. The man must lose everything that was expected of him as a man before he became a husband, all of his identity to be able to achieve a happy marriage. And sometimes it could also mean sacrificing his own happiness to attain that. In the course of doing that, the trophy may be the external gratification of having a happy marriage. The downside would be the emptiness and disconnect of his being. Now, why is it that it's going to be easier for the woman to suffer less or rather her external social circle. It is common in marriage for a woman to say to you, the man, that I'm not happy in this marriage. And what she means is that you are not giving her happiness sufficient enough for her to say she's happy. But you cannot say to the woman that you're not happy because you think she's not giving you sufficient happiness. Because in our societal expectations, you as the man or the husband is the one from whom all of this are expected. And if you're a good man, you are also expected to bend as hard as you can, even if you have to break, to ensure that your marriage is happy, the home is at peace, irrespective of what you're going through. That is why you see the very few men who will talk will say to you, no matter what is thrown at me as a man, I must keep that face so that the wife and the children will not know that I'm broken, because it is from my strength that they saw strength. The day she knows you are broken, she may not stay there long enough for you to fix yourself and carry on the ride. So we come back most time hearing that I had everything under control. They could give you the long list and then you say, oh, we'll handle that. You at that point of saying you handle it, you do not know how and the means and when you can deal with it. But to put peace in that home, to put life in that home, you must continually give them the assurance that daddy got you, husband got you, and no matter what it is, I'll fix it. So it is in that point that you are burning out and becoming lonely and hollow. Now, what would benefit? I mean, what would help a woman out of such lonely state is societally accepted. She could go talk with her friends. She could go shopping. She could go on a trip financed by the man. But what will make the man out of this? To a very large extent, if he has not amassed sufficient wealth to take care of the home front and the extras, will be condemned by society. Let's say he wakes up and says, you know what, I'm not feeling myself this weekend. I want to go play golf at Ibom with my friends. I'll go on Friday, I'll come back on Sunday. If you do not have that much, you are termed an irresponsible man. But a good man can say to his wife, I don't like the way you're feeling. Make a trip to a social place. Go and stay with your sisters. Go and hang out with your friends. Just go and get some energy. Go and take care of yourself and come back. Or you know what? Go and do your self-care. Go to the spa. Just go take care of yourself. But who will do that for you? I mean, it is even funny that a man wants to do self-care and he's termed. So basically, that is why the man would naturally, because of the way our society is wired, be the lonelier one.
Okay.
And because again, he's not able to express himself.
You're not allowed to show signs of weakness.
At all. Let's go on a short break, right? When we come back from that break, I want to touch on something he mentioned. Because there's a difference between you being available, you being in the room, and you being present, And again, sometimes I feel like one of the consequences of loneliness, or one of the signs of loneliness, you're always absent, You're always absent. But let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Heartlines will be right back.
This season on Heartlines, we're committed to making a difference in people's lives. So Heartlines, in partnership with Veda Consult, is offering 12 free slots of counseling every quarter for people in need of professional counseling. Additionally, we're taking on 2 pro bono cases for individuals navigating a challenging divorce. To participate, please send an email to counsel@vedaconsult.com with your story. Our team will carefully review all submissions and will contact all the shortlisted candidates. Heartlines is live Mondays to Fridays at 10 p.m. So engage with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Heartlines.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a conversation around, the question, can you be happily married and still feel lonely? That's the question we're addressing tonight, and I have Sajo and Shay with me. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081 803 You can also call us 070250077749 or 0701424220. Please, be a part of conversation. Share the link to someone that you think might need to hear this as well. So before we went on a break, there was a part of that message where the man said that, he thought his children wanted to have all of those things, but no, they just wanted him to be present and to be himself, and just be there, play with them, and be happy with them. Because, that is really, what everyone needs, even in a marriage. I think the biggest thing that I feel like, that separates a lot of marriages is that the inability to be present and to just be there. Sometimes you're there with your wife or you're there with your husband and you are lost somewhere. Maybe your head is still at work or you are buried in your phone. I mean, there are some homes now, they have made it a law that if we're going, we have our family time. Once you just keep your phone in one corner so that there's not going to be people are now very intentional about making sure that when you are home, you're present, and all of that. And I know that one of the signs or the, the signs to tell that someone is actually in that headspace of loneliness, most of them are a bit withdrawn. They're in their, they're absent-minded. They're not present. They are there, but they are not just there. So, those are one of the things that you would easily tell that, this person is going through that, that phase. Because I think I've been there too. So, just to kind of find quick solutions away from just addressing the problem. How do you think we should, and I think Sergio had mentioned some, societal, we should stop as a society to, attack people, especially men, when they want to do certain things, just to be able to, find themselves and all of that. But how do you think we need to now start to intentionally fight this, this thing that comes to eat us up, even though the stealer of joy, I'll call it, because you have everything is looking good, but yet there's that hollowness, that void in your heart. How do we start to intentionally fight it?
I think, well, let me say for myself. I like to talk for myself.
It's better.
Because I don't know what's going on out there. So one of the things that has been happening with me in recent times is after like a few years of marriage, I'm now trying to be more intentional with my guy friends. So just like Sajid was saying, it looks irresponsible when you have 5-6 guy group of men. I say, man, whatever is happening in the house, these 2-3 weeks, make it happen. Guys, I beg, where will they go? Do you understand? So for like the last couple of years, we've been intentionally, like the people I call my, call friends, like that we can hold each other's hands, we can talk about anything. We intentionally just say, guys, another year they come, or 2 years, now we don't do this thing. Let's go somewhere, let's go here for the weekend. If it's 5 days, and I have my friends come from all over the world, and we pick a spot. Now, that can also not be achieved if you've not gotten to a level of financial stability. But what I can say to that is everybody, every man should find in their own level, wherever level they are, find people you can make deep connections with. Because it's even wrong for you to put the whole burden of your stability, of your this thing on your family. Find your guys that you can say, oh, more, I'm going through this. So that
Find a healthy outlet.
So that when you get home, you can still maintain steez as a father, as a man, without breaking down. But you have your guy somewhere that has held you down and be like, guy, forget, as you reach out, no go fuck off house. So, because it's also, it's going to be disastrous. After maybe every day you go home, you are crying, and your wife is saying that this guy does not got it at all. This one don't lose him. At some point she will run and she will be like, no.
This was not what I bargained
for.
Yeah,
exactly.
This is what I ordered versus what I got. Sergio, intentionally, how do we start to fight loneliness, as people, especially when it seems like we have everything going for us? How do we start to fight it?
Now, I was quickly going to address what the man said about being present and not being a perfect dad. You cannot attain perfection as a human being. You can only do your best and be present as a father. The idea, it was all a paper thing for him, I think, because now we are discussing the good man. The good man is not able to sit at home, play with his kids, when he has not convinced himself that his core responsibility as a father and a husband, whether economically, emotionally, psycho-emotionally, has been fully attended to. So that is why you see him work more and play less. So the only point where he will get that comfort or that confidence will sit back at home and play with the kids and do all of those wonderful things that we all cherish as fathers is when he has done what the society requires of him to do as a father. Put differently, you will not be able to sit at home if you live in a rented apartment when you know that your rent is due, or that the kids' fees have not been paid, or that they are not having comfort at home with respect to what they eat, the electricity bills, and all of that. And of course, we know what the economy is like in Nigeria today. So that balance will always be created by good men. And most times, the person that will be on the burner will be the man who is trying to create that balance. How to intentionally move out of loneliness or deal with loneliness. In my view, there are really three basic things to do. The first and the most important of all is to create a very positive and meaningful connection, whatever that means to you. You must be the one to determine what connection is meaningful and
Including
positive.
having a babe?
Whatever that is to you, you must be the one to determine what is meaningful and
Lawyer said that whatever
positive.
that is to you.
Now, the idea of having a girlfriend, I don't know if that would help loneliness or deepen loneliness.
Because your gender have said that one of the reasons they have girlfriends is because they are lonely.
Yes, I'm not done. Now, frankly, for those who believe it would help, it is their word. Do not allow the society determine for you how you will live your life, as long as it does not impact negatively to a third party. Now, the other thing you must do, in my view, is to engage in activities that you truly enjoy, which is almost impossible to achieve these days because of the situation we are in our country. Now, you may want to play golf. If you look by my side here, I've had this golf bag for a while, and I cannot remember going out there to do anything other than walk, and walk. You will not want to engage in some activities that are money demanding if your resources are limited, or if you're in that point in your life where you are really spending heavy. So naturally, you want to chase the loneliness, deal with it, and wait till you get to a particular age where you now find some level of comfort or reduction in your expenses and billing. Then again, the third thing I would advise is practice self-care. You are human. The title of husband or wife does not remove the fact that you are a human being and you are deserving of love and care. If it is not available externally, at least for Christ's sake, love yourself and care about yourself. Do those things that you think would make life more meaningful and impactful, even if it is condemnable. And funny enough, the society could even condemn it whether it is moral or immoral. You can say you want to go. I personally have had this thing in me that, you know what, I want to go spend 1 week at the monastery. Just stay there for 1 week. Stay in one of those chalice and engage in some form of spiritual exercise. Now, much as that is not morally wrong, it can be societally condemnable, particularly when the time you're spending there is going to impact on your finances. So, but spend it anyway. Heavens will not fall. Do your thing, because you are the only one who can actually pull you out of that loneliness. Nothing and no one else can help you out.
Alexa, just say heaven will not fall. Before what will fall before? But you know, there was one thing Sheyi said about bro friends. You know, say these days now the fight where we fight for WhatsApp group be that. You understand? You know, before, if you told me you were going out with your friends and all of you were going to go and hang out and all of that, I will not have a problem with it. But these days, the society will still question you. I'm just telling you, Shay. So you have to be very careful where you
And
say.
then again, Owa, the society will question you anyways. When women go out with their female friends, society who questions them? And funny enough, it is the man that will finance that trip.
Exactly.
But I was
So
just gonna say,
let society. You see, some of us, I in particular, I'm in that stage of my life where I have decided to live life on my own terms. I am not answerable to any human being. I'm answerable to God and my conscience. If it is right to God and clear within me, I will do it. And like I said, heavens will not fall.
yeah.
And if it will fall on all of us.
No, it will follow you. Now you call the
All of
heaven
us.
made for. It's not all of us. But I was just gonna say that I loved what both of you have said. Then I like the fact that, you know, there's one very important thing. I think one of the biggest things that helped me come out of that phase was, you know, this self care. And self care for me was now living healthy, living intentional. You know, taking my long walks. One of the best form of exercise that I love the most. I love to take very long walks, you know. So the estate I used to live in, you know, in Magodo, it was so beautiful. Early in the morning, I could easily do my 20,000 steps every day. And you know, they say one thing about how exercise helps with, you know, happy hormones and in your brains and all of that. So it just really helped me as a person, you know, that's self-care. So exercise, I used to go to the spa. I was eating very clean. You know, it has really helped me even up till now, because I hardly take in junk or whatever. And I know how it has really helped with my state of mind. Secondly, I found something that is much more fulfilling than self. You know, one of the things that I have also observed in the bid to want to live a good life, right? We are all about working, let's just make enough money, let's do this, let's do that, you know. There's a higher level of fulfillment when you start to do things that are beyond yourself, things that impact other lives, things that you're touching people's lives. So when I started intentionally volunteering, you know, to different NGOs, to different organizations, my time, I love children a lot. So I used to do a lot of volunteer work with orphanages that had, you know, and homes that had all those children, teenagers, to talk to them, help to reset their brain so that they can focus, where they were going. So those things gave me a lot of joy. And I saw that it gave me, there's just something, and like you said, because the way you cannot explain loneliness, the hollowness, you also cannot explain that feeling of joy. One of the things I also organized, the biggest board game tournament in Nigeria, I used to organize it. It was thousands of children, about 3,000 children coming to play board games. You would see some children, they didn't even have slippers, right? I've been to Makoko distributing shoes with my friends that had NGOs, distributing bread, all of those things, right? So all those little things that you thought are not, there's something it does to you internally. It makes you just, there's an unexplainable joy it gives you. Just as you are not able to explain the loneliness, you're also not able to explain how much fulfillment that brings to you. So I think once we start to live our lives beyond self, and we now start to really seek for higher connection. I mean, what Sergio was talking about, going to spend time in the when you do that kind of thing, you go to spend time in the monastery and all of that, the kind of connection you get, it's amazing. Sheyi, I would just pick up my car keys on a Friday. I drive all the way to Ota, Songwater. I lodge myself in the year. Then at night, I just take very long walks. I go around the tabernacle. I just talk to myself. I pray. I mean, these things are things that we do them, but we do not know how much impact. And I can tell you that most of the great ideas that I have gotten in this life was me coming out of a very deep phase of maybe pain or emotional pain or whatever. And most of the things that have come to me, they came from just those, as
being by yourself,
being by myself, and just being I said something before. I think we went on that break. A lot of people are not comfortable in their own company. If you leave me, Sheyi, hey, God I beg, I go stay in my room, Monday to Sunday, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 36, 12 months in a year. I will be in my house.
They say that the most feared human beings are those who have found comfort in their loneliness. Those who find great companionship with
themselves.
Yes, and for me, that is the height of human attainment, where you are now able to find completeness in yourself and within yourself.
Oh, thank you. See, so that's a compliment.
No, it is, and there are very rare human beings who have achieved that. Who can say, you know what, I can be by myself. I really do not need something external. But unfortunately, we are men and we have bills to pay. And then the society rates us by the extent of how quickly and efficiently we're able to pay those bills. And then that is how they tag responsibility to our name or add era to it. God strengthen us.
Amen. Amen.
This Aluta Continua, both of you. But I think in general, yes, I get it, and I this is just an appeal to the society. We need to do things beyond just attacking people. I mean, just sometimes take a step back and watch and see where is this person really coming from. Because again, if people share their stories with you, you go no say, Omo, this thing, the person don't see Pepe. So I think we should just be a lot more nicer and a lot more friendlier with people. So if you had one final thing to say, I'll start with you, Sergio, then I'll come to you, Sheyi. What would it be so we can wrap up the show?
Let your understanding of happiness stem from within. But it is only when you have found happiness that you can communicate happiness.
Absolutely. I love that. Sheyi, how about you?
Sergio said it all. Honestly, he took it was right out of my mouth. Because what I was going to say was exactly something similar, which is the most powerful you can be is when you have understood yourself. Just like you said, I don't know who taught me. I don't know how I developed it. But the most powerful I've been, the most powerful conversations I've been was when I was with myself. When I, you were talking about walks. I prefer driving. I'll sit in the car, no radio, nothing. Just go on like a very long drive. And in those moments are when I have the most wonderful conversations with myself. You know, so I'm not going to rely on somebody else to fill the void of me being lonely or I'm by myself. I don't, you know, all those.
I was just going to say, Sheyi or expensive, my own a leg. Because Sheyi or now with this, what is the current price of fuel again? That was just on a lighter note. But thank you so much, Sergio, and thank you, Sheyi. I mean, we've had a fantastic conversation. You know, sometimes I think this kind of very sober conversations will just help you to understand that you're not alone. Loneliness is a thing, and I want to validate what if you're feeling it right now. Yes, it is a thing, and truth be told, you can't if you are not strong enough to be able to, you know, help yourself and fight it yourself. We have people. That's why you can send an email, counsel@vedaconsult.com. Send us an email, you know, talk to us, share your story. You know, if you have anybody going through loneliness, share this link with them as well. It's very important so that they can find help. Sometimes we just need a little hand holding, you know, to be able to help ourselves, you know, from this situation. Life actually throws a lot of things at us on a per second basis. So you really, if you haven't built yourself, it might be tough for you to be able to just handle it all by yourself. So find people that can help you through the situation. And good enough, the team at Heartlines are here to help you. So, well, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Yes. And stay safe. Enjoy.